Hi, everybody. Hello, you love me in pink. Thank you. Hi, Facebook. How are you? I hope everybody is super well. I was just saying to our friends on Instagram here that if you are interested in hormones, estrogen, HRT, estrogen gel especially, you might want to grab a pen and paper because I'm going to be talking about that later. But it is going to get me quite cross. So I thought what I'd do is I'd start with some really lovely calm stuff. Because you know me, once I get on that old HRT menopause soapbox, it all goes a bit peak-tong, doesn't it? So I just thought I'll stay calm and we'll just enjoy some happy, sunny vibes. Yeah, pink vibes. Hi, Deborah, just joined. So this dress, you would have seen it before. I'm sorry, I can't wear something brand new every day, although I am going to try and kind of get stuff lent to me so that I can show you different things. But this I really love. It's on sale in John Lewis still. I checked it. It's LK Bennett, which is a really nice British brand. And I'll just show you. It's a wrap dress, which, as you know, I really love because I find them really flattering. You can kind of pull them in where you need to. It's really well cut. And I love it, and it's got slightly shorter sleeves, which I also like because I find long sleeves just annoying, and I also like to have a bit of skin here because I think it elongates the face. If you've got a bit of a round face like me, then I just find it's a bit more flattering. And of course, you can show off your jewels like my Neroli. I know loads of you have been buying my Neroli necklace. It's half price, I think, until the end of the month. Just use Neroli50 as your code there. So anyway, yeah, so I like these sort of longer necklines. I just find them a bit more flattering. Anyhow, I'm not here to talk about fashion or about being pink, although thank you also for your kind comments about my pink hair. I am quite loving it, you know. Friend dropped something off to me yesterday, and as I came to the door, she went, "Oh my goodness, your hair!" And it's like, what's the matter with my hair? And then she said, it's pink. And I was going, oh yes, so it is. So I'd forgotten because, you know, you just kind of get used to these things, don't you? But it is supposed to wash out. So Lee Stafford, you say on your pack 1 to 5 washes. So I will be watching you. But for now, I am totally embracing it. In fact, I'll probably give it another go just to get it a bit more pink before the salons open and I can go and kind of be properly redone. Anyway, I just wanted to share something for you guys on Facebook. I put on my Instagram this morning just a little picture from the farm. I was out early. I was doing the school run because I'm so thankful my youngest has been able to go back to school. And it was just a shot. It was just a wheelbarrow by some foxgloves with the sort of morning sunlight here on the farm. And it just looked really calm and still. And I thought, oh, I'd love to share that. So I just snapped it. And then I thought, well, I'll just talk about what I'm going to do today and just actually throw it out there. You know, what would you like? Would you like me to carry on with these lives once we're all back to normality? I think maybe I'm a bit low, aren't I, Instagram? I'm just going to hook you up a bit. That might be a bit better, and then you can see a bit more of what I'm going to show you later. Hopefully that works. Let me know if it doesn't. You can always, that's what I love about these things. They're live, so you can let me know. That's why I don't really want to go recorded, you know, which is recorded would be good. And I know many of you watch later on YouTube. Hi to YouTube. If you're watching me on YouTube later on, really nice to have the pleasure of your company. And I'm sorry, the format's a bit weird. At the moment, we have to take the film, I think, from Facebook and load it onto YouTube. That's something that lovely Amy does. And she does that obviously after the event. And it means that it's the wrong format because we're filming this way because I'm just doing it on my little phones. Whereas in the future, if we do it properly for YouTube, obviously we will do it that way, like a TV set. And that will look a lot better. But we won't have this interactivity. So I quite like to keep this sort of live bit going because I can, although I can't respond always because it's quite distracting. I've got 2 threads of comments coming up and I'm trying to remember what I'm going to say. And so forgive me if I occasionally kind of stop and think a moment because I lose my train of thought. But Amy is so brilliant. Thank you, Amy. Amy is on Facebook. So Amy is our Facebook keyboard warrior. And she puts all the links up. So everything I talk about, I can already see there's links that have gone up for the Neroli necklace. Thank you. Everything that I say, Amy can quickly tap in, and she's a demon. Oh my goodness, Amy, I don't know how you do it, honey, because I'm talking about stuff and ping, ping, ping. You'll be putting all the links and podcasts and features that we've got online or bits of research that we found or medics that we suggest connecting with. You know, it's all there all the time and a lot of chat as well that goes on. I'm really sad that we can't link link on Instagram. Maybe they'll change that in the future, but for the moment, go to Linktree. Those of you who are new, I know there are new people joining me all the time. Welcome to this lovely wellbeing community. We're friends here. There's no trolling, there's no bad stuff. It's all inspirational and encouraging and very much a sisterhood. So you are very welcome if that is your vibe. And just so that you know, in my main Instagram bio at the bottom, you'll see in blue type, there's a little word that says Linktree. And if you click on that, it opens up all the links that we can do on Instagram. So you go there and you'll find links to everything that I talk about, really. A lot of the offer codes as well. If all else fails, go to lizearlewellbeing.com, because if you type in Liz Loves, it'll all come up there as well. Okay, so there are lots and lots of ways. If you're on YouTube and you're watching, I know that Amy also does the link on YouTube so that you can click on that and that goes straight through to the website. So just a quickie, I loved this. This was from Ali on Instagram this morning. Thank you, Ali. When I asked about whether I should be keeping this going, and she said, please keep your IG lives going. They are so good and it feels like you and the community get me. Isn't that so great? I've never found a platform until now that promotes amazing women and also helps those women who, like me, have felt they've become a bit lost and isolated in midlife. Over the past few months, I no longer blame myself for feeling out of control. Becoming engaged with HRT, histamine plus nutritional advice has made me realise that I am okay. Yes, you are, Ali. You're very okay. Your team and, of course, Dr. Newson are the only ones who have ever made me realise that. The IGs aren't just informative, they are natural and make me laugh too in a good way. Thank you. Yeah, I think that was one of the comments that I loved actually seeing repeated, was the fact that it was light and it was fun, and we do have a bit of fun. And obviously at the moment it's just me sat here, but I feel that I am kind of with you through the screen. And I try and respond, as a woman, midlife woman, just turned 57. My life was totally changed with HRT. It's been totally changed over the years by fitness, by mental health, by eating well, by gut health, by kefir, all this good stuff. And the great thing is you don't have to give anything up. No, you just add the good stuff in. I mean, okay, so you do have to give up a bit of the refined sugars. Yeah, but you're going to want to anyway, because you're just going to feel so good and you're going to just love how you feel and look. So, Anyhow, something that I have done today to cheer myself up. Well, not cheer myself up, but provide a bit of comfort. I'm actually feeling very cheerful. I just need a bit of comfort at the moment. And I made myself, I don't know if you saw on my IGTV, I've been putting it on my stories, the coconut turmeric latte. Wow, I've just seen this colour. Isn't that great? Better not spill it though, because turmeric is the devil if you spill it. Oh, it's so nice. Warm, comforting. It feels like you're drinking a cup of nourishment. Do you know what I mean? So that recipe is in yearbook 2. My yearbook's been flying out of the door. Oh my goodness. We do have some yearbook 1s left, but not many. Just throwing that out there. And yearbook 2, we've got lots of, which is great. And I do love this one. This is such a pretty book. And if you didn't see me make it, this was on the page towards the end. It's on page 214 if you've got a copy. That's the picture with Lil with her lovely long hair. And this is the recipe here for turmeric coconut latte. And, oh, who's this on Facebook? Hi, Liz. Just letting you know I made the Greek cheese pie. My family loved it. I got a 9 out of 10. Thank you for sharing that. Love that. You see, this interaction stuff is so great. That's great. I think, Amy, thanks, darling, for popping the recipe for the latte. Have we got the Greek cheesy pie? I think we might have it online. We'll find it anyway. So this is actually in the recipe. It calls for coconut rice milk, but I don't have any coconut rice milk. And hats off to you guys if you have coconut rice milk in your cupboard at the moment. So I just used lovely whole milk. Normal cow's milk, and it's great, it's delicious. And that's what I always say, if you see weird and wonderful ingredients that we're using here, they're really good to experiment with, and it's lovely to try, or to switch out to gluten-free flour if that's the kind of thing that you need, but you don't have to. So this is basically just milk with some turmeric powder, so regular turmeric powder, nothing tricky or expensive, a little bit of honey. And we all know what to do with the honey, don't you? Check the label, see where it's come from. Make sure it doesn't say a blend of EU and non-EU honeys. We've got lots of stuff about honey on the website. And a little bit of black pepper, because that helps to activate the turmeric. and some coconut oil, just a little spoonful, and that gives it that lovely coconutty flavour. Really, really good. I made mine in the milk frother. I've been doing this for a while. I make hot chocolate in the milk frother. So easy, and you just shove all the ingredients in, press the button, and it whizzes round and froths it as it heats it. Okay, so really super easy. I've got a dual-lit one. I've popped a link on Linktree to the one that I've got, which I've had for years. It works really well. And otherwise, just use a saucepan and whiz it up with a whisker. Not a cat's whisker, a whisker. You know what I mean. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that. That's from your book too. And I sign them, by the way, when I send them out. So that's lovely books. I will be talking about menopause and menopause books. I do also have some of these at the farm, signed copies. So if you want to have one for yourself or send one to a friend, then let me know. And I am going to, before I get started on the whole estrogen thing, because I do warn you, that little soapbox is going to be coming out and I'm going to be stepping up on it. So I hope you've got pen and paper ready, because it's a slightly complicated. Not complicated, but there's just a few things that you might want to note down, okay, to save rewatching the whole thing again. And this is in real time, so we don't have anything online about this, because this is news. Okay, guys, this is news. You're allowed to watch this news. Delete your news apps. Don't watch the news. All of that. No. But you can get well-being news here. So a couple of things I wanted to share with you. I'm being asked lots and lots of questions about what I use on my body, like body care. And I have been using a lot of Ren products recently. They very kindly sent me a big bunch of press samples to try. And these I absolutely love. In fact, this one so much, you can see I've virtually used it all up. This is the Rose Otto body cream. It's heavenly. I wish you could smell it, actually, because I did some yoga earlier, which is why I'm a little bit hot, and jumped in the shower and then, covered myself. I use this one in the shower. This is the Rose Otto body wash. Again, smells heavenly, super concentrated, so you just need a little bit. And I really love actually everything that they're doing as a brand. I don't particularly like the words clean beauty because it implies that other bits of beauty are dirty, and I don't think that's right. It's like talking about clean eating. I don't use that expression either, because it's you don't have dirty eating. You have maybe a few bad habits that we get into, but food is food. So anyway, so this is the Moroccan Rose Otto body wash, and I found a website where you can get it with free P&P. So Amy, I think we are doing a link, and there's a link in Linktree to these two. And this is the Rose Otto body lotion, which I have to say, I'm going to put more on. It does absolutely smell divine. But the principles that I always use is, if I'm using a body wash, I make sure that it's sulfate free. So it has no sodium role sulfate. Oh, smell. It smells like I'm outside in my rose garden. Oh, I've still got some roses going, actually, which is great. I'm going to do a little bit of rose and neroli towards the end of the week, because that's just such a pretty theme. Oh, that's so nice. So when I'm using a body wash, I don't use any sodium lauryl sulfate. I try not to use things that have got extra colouring or foaming ingredients, just trying to strip it right back, actually, to keep the skin really just not stripped, because I do suffer from eczema if I'm not careful, so I've got to be a bit mindful of that. And just use tiny amounts, always use more water if you want to get clean, and just tiny bits of any kind of cleanser. And then in terms of body lotions, I try to avoid mineral oil, not because mineral oil is bad. It's actually just a very neutral ingredient. In fact, if you've got super sensitive skin, using plain mineral oil can be really good, because it's not going to set off any sensitivities. But I do like to have things that have got extra vitamin E in them. I find that very good for the skin. I like using natural fragrances, and it just smells good, and it just seems to work. So these are my faves at the moment. A couple of my other faves that I'm really enjoying, and I know lots of you love my chat with the founder of LBB Skincare, and isn't she fab? So this is her invention. This is called the A Game, and it's the stick. And this just smells of natural oils. You use it all over your face, your neck. You can use it on your hands, your cuticles. It's designed for travel because it's a stick, but actually you can use it anywhere. I've got mine sat now on my bedside table. And again, we've got 20% off this. Thank you so much. With the code Liz Loves. So Amy, I know that you're popping details on. Oh gosh, you've got so much chat going on Facebook on HRT already, and menopause, and lots of sad stories. Hi, Adina. How are you? Can I do some lives in my garden? Cut flowers and well-being food. Yeah, that would be so nice, Pippa. I'd love to. I need to check the sound because Facebook seems to be super sensitive on sound. When I did a live not that long ago from my kitchen, I had the kitchen window open because I was so flipping hot. Um, and everybody said, oh, there's a howling gale, that doesn't work. But I think I can get a little furry cover. I have to talk to Harry, my sound engineer, which will muffle any kind of passing gale. So I'm going to do that. Who's this? This is Justine. Says, bought for my husband on behalf of the boys a Koi polo shirt. One of the brands Liz recommended. Absolutely delighted with it. Have now placed an order for the shirt. Eldest son 23, after some now too. Yeah, I mean, my boy Kit, who modelled the lovely Koi clothing shirts. This was a small brand based in Kenya. And if you haven't seen them, that's really good stuff. The quality is excellent. And the linen shirts for summer are just a gorgeous design. And they use the kikoi fabric, which is these brightly striped fabric scarves, to line the inside of collars and cuffs and the little kind of placket here. And I've got a polo neck shirt that they sent me that has the same, which I love. And I was wearing that at the weekend. So nice to get feedback. It's lovely to know that all these things, I like to highlight brands that are sustainable, that are doing some good with Koi clothing. They're putting money back into community projects in Kenya, for example. I like Aspiga clothing, where they work with women who've been rescued in Kenya from sex trafficking. I like brands that do it well. LBB Skincare, where it's different. It's a small founder-led, often a female founder-led brand. Lavender Hill Clothing, that lovely bamboo clothing. Asquith, London, their amazing bamboo exercise wear. And very often when I reach out to these brands, they are able to offer discounts, because they're often small and nimble and grateful for the exposure. So it works for everybody, works for our community, which is really good. Am I ready to dive into HRT? Okay, so nearly. This is also another brand. I've got this sat here on my dressing table. This was the Holistic Silk. It smells great too. This was the lavender. When I was doing my yoga, I did just a few minutes of, is it Shavasana at the end, where you lie back and put your hands up like this and you're just sort of switching off, feeling heavy on the floor. I had that on my eyes. And these are heading up to London because I've got an appointment that I need to get to tomorrow, and I'm going to be taking this with me. This was the Holistic Silk Mask, which I really, really like the look of because it's got these little charcoal filters that you can put in. And just being silk, excuse me for a moment, it just feels really comfortable. And I know that we're going to be in for a little bit of a heat wave. So actually, this will be really nice, and then just, wash it when you come back in again. But I think the filters last, I think I read they last 30 days. And again, if you use Liz Loves, there's a discount code on there as well. And of course, that lovely sleep turban. So now, right, okay, as if it wasn't all hard enough. So those of you who know my menopause journey will know that I wrote a book and got some researchers to help me with the Good Menopause Guide, which came out about 3.5 years ago. So I obviously started working on this about 5 years ago, because it takes about a year or so to produce a book. And that was when I first met Dr. Louise Newson, who put me right on so many myths and inaccuracies regarding HRT, all the scaremongering, the misreported studies, how our GPs are not trained in accurate diagnosis and safety of HRT and of all the different menopausal symptoms. I never had a hot flush. So for me, it was all about headaches and lack of sleep. I got tinnitus because it affects your ears. All of these things, slightly achy joints, because it affects that as well. So I won't go over old ground, because those of you who followed me for a long time will know, and there's lots online, lots of podcasts. If you're new, please check them out. You can download my Truth About Menopause, which is an e-guide, so you can get that instantly and read that now. You can also download the Truth About HRT, which is another really up-to-date e-guide. Lots of information. That's useful because it's digital, so it's got all the links to the nice guidelines and all of that in it. So, you can even take it to your doctor's surgery if you need to. So getting help for all these different issues is really hard, as we know, because doctors aren't trained. We as women aren't aware. I certainly wasn't aware. I've had 5 kids, and never did a health visitor or a midwife or anybody ever said to me, oh, by the way, when you're in your 40s, your hormones are going to go a bit strange and you're going to lose your estrogen and you're going to feel different. And don't worry, because we can talk about it and we can help you. So that never happened. So women aren't aware, doctors aren't aware. The media have been myth-making and scaremongering. There have been misrepresented studies that have been repeated over the years in eminent publications like The Lancet, which is an absolute scandal. And there have been a lot of doctors and medics working behind the scenes to try and change it. Dealing with doctors is very difficult because they rely on the information that comes to them from the MHRA, and that information is wrong. So even if you do pluck up courage to ignore all the scare stories, you go to your GP, you find a GP who's educated and informed and helpful and willing to prescribe, and not go down the whole breast cancer route, which is such a red herring. Lots more online about that. I've recorded podcasts with professors of oncology. Don't take my word for it. I'm just the messenger, okay? I am just reporting what these senior specialists, including the lead oncologist, breast cancer surgeon from the Royal Marsden, who did all the tamoxifen trials, Professor Michael Baum. So I've got 2 podcasts with him, which are brilliant on that subject. So it's very much evidence-based, everything that I say. So let's assume that you go there, your GP then types into the computer the prescription, and it comes up with a red flashing warning, and that's because the information on the system is wrong. So you then need to have a GP who's confident enough to go, I know that information's wrong, I'm going to prescribe it to you anyway, especially if you've got migraine or a history of blood clots, because there's no link with transdermal. You can have the gels and the patches, they're very safe. So then you get your prescription, and then you bring it home and you open up the box and you look inside, and it's got this leaflet, like all medicines have, and probably for the first time ever you read the leaflet, every word of it, unlike a box of paracetamol where we just, take the painkiller and don't read the fact that it's, potentially going to cause liver damage and, all sorts of stuff. And we read it, and it says, this will raise your risk of breast cancer, this will cause blood clots, this will, you can't have it for your migraine, all of that, all of which is wrong, okay? So it's wrong, and we need to get this changed, and this is something that I'm working on behind the scenes with a lot of other medics. And I've news on that. I heard this morning that there is a medical lawyer, a medico-legal expert, quite high up, who is going to help take this on. So that's good news. So I was just looking to see if I had one of the boxes with me, but I don't. So anyway, so you do all of that. And then you ignore the leaflet, which is good. And then you rub the gel on, and then nothing much happens. And you think, well, this is strange because everyone's been talking about this. And would you believe that the makers of the gel, this is where you might need a pen and paper, actually have 2 different gels going, and one is quite possibly not as effective as the other. And this all basically came to light because there's a great menopause doctor called Dr. Zoe Hodgson, who I suggest you follow if you're interested in menopause and HRT. Do follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram is, let me get this right, she's in Manchester, and her Instagram is Manchester Menopause Hive, okay, as in beehive. Manchester Menopause Hive, that's her current post, okay, if you're on Instagram. That's the one that she's done yesterday, I think it was. And I picked this up because I follow her, and I was reading that Estrogen, which is this one, this is one that I use, Estrogen, is has been replaced in many pharmacies by something called Estradose, okay? And many people have been using Estradose, which looks like this, got a different label on, but it says it's the same. It says it's 17B estradiol, so a pharmacist would look at it and go, well, that's the same, it's the same stuff. But the thing is, it's made by the same company, so Bessins Healthcare, they make both. But they make them in different locations. And this has been a really interesting thing to discover, that the original Estrogel is the one that works for me, and it's worked, I know, for many, many, many other people. From the first moment you apply it, from the first moment I rubbed Estrogel on, I got a good night's sleep. I have got a replacement prescription for Estradose, which I didn't realise. I just thought they'd changed the pack because it said on it was the same. So I thought, well, that's the same. And when I was using it in London before lockdown, I didn't sleep as well. And I thought, well, maybe it's just because I'm in London, maybe I sleep really well here at the farm. This is my home, so maybe that's why. But I'm now thinking that I was having a return of my symptoms because the Estradose wasn't working. And I'm not alone. There have been many, many, many women who have got Estradose who've said, this doesn't work. It's thinner, it feels more watery, and you rub it on, and even if you increase the dose, and I've been increasing the dose, thinking maybe I just need to have a bit more to make it work. So let's go back and have a look through this historically. And if I read you some of Manchester Menopause's posts, you'll get, because this I think might explain a little bit of what is happening. If this is your case, if you are somebody who's using the gel. Now, this is only in terms of the gel in the pump, the Estrogel and the Estradose. If you're using the Sandrina sachets, it's the same gel and you should be absolutely fine. Or the transdermal that's in the patches is fine. So we're just really talking about the gels here. And it's just a really interesting lesson. I've learned a lot through this exercise, and I just thought it was interesting to talk about it because it talks about how the same medicines can be manufactured in different places and have different effects. And there is a remedy. We can report it, and I'll show you how you can do that if that's something that's happened to you. So she first wrote, this was a few days ago, that she went to pick up her Estrogel, and she was given Estradose. And so she said, I don't want the Estradose, I want my normal Estrogel. And she said, oh, no, they said it was the same. And I said, well, no, actually, the prescription has Estrogel written on it, and I'm within my rights to get Estrogel. But the pharmacist said, no, it's just the same, don't worry. So she was thinking, am I being patronised as a slightly mad menopausal woman here? I'm not having this because my prescription says very clearly Estrogel, not Estradose. So she decided to do some digging, basically, and she got in touch with the manufacturers, Bessons, and it turns out that they have different manufacturing places where they make. I mean, many people in Europe are manufacturing in different manufacturing units. So because it's a gel, and I know about gels because having worked in skincare for many years, obviously I have no connection to the beauty company now, but over the years I was involved a lot in formulations and working with manufacturers making skincare, making toiletry products. And gels are notoriously unstable. You've got to be careful with gels. You heat them up, you store them in warm conditions, you put them in, a different location for a while and the texture changes. And it's quite possible that because this Estradose is being made by a different manufacturing plant, that it's being stored in a different way. It may be sat in a container ship on a dockside somewhere in the heat for a while we don't know about, or it may be kept under different temperature regulated conditions to the original. So we don't quite know, but there is something potentially happening with Estradose that's making it different. And many women are using it because they've been prescribed Estrogel. Nobody's realising the difference, and they are seeing their menopause symptoms return. They're seeing hot flushes, they are experiencing low mood, anxiety, and of course it's very hard, isn't it, with everything that's going on at the moment. I was thinking, well, maybe I'm a bit more anxious because, of everything that's going on around us, certainly in the early months when it was all a bit unknown. So basically the advice is check that if you do feel like that, if it's working for you, fine. But if you feel that it's different and that your symptoms are returning and you've been prescribed Estradose, and sometimes you even have to peel back the sticker because they sometimes put the sticker over something that says Estradose underneath. So, as if it wasn't hard enough, okay? Remember all that I've told you about the wrong information, the media studies, the GPs who may not be supportive, we who may be terrified because we've read all the media studies, the leaflets in the box that's wrong. We finally get this in our hands. And then we discover that they've messed around with the manufacturing of it and it's not going to work as well. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is beyond. This has got to stop. This is unacceptable. It really, really is unacceptable. And the only way that we can get it to stop and to make a change is if we start to shout much more loudly about it. So there is a way that you can do this. So the best thing to do is, well, first of all, make sure you get the right stuff. So here's how you get the right stuff. If you think that you're affected by this or a friend of yours might be affected by it, you have to say to your GP when they're prescribing that they have to specifically say estrogel on the prescription and not 0.06 estradiol, because that's the ingredient that's in both. So estrogel is the one. And then get them to write on there non-PI. Okay, non-PI. And what that means, and this was my fun fact for the day, PI means primary import, I think. I have to check that. I think it's primary import. And it basically means that the pharmacist can prescribe something that's not exactly on the prescription, but it's very, very close, okay? Or it's got a different label on it. So you need to make sure that the prescription from your GP, this is why I say get a pen and paper, says estrogel non-PI, okay? And take a copy of it with your phone. So when you get it back from the pharmacist, because this is what Dr. Zoe, she's a doctor, a menopause specialist. She said that she asked for the pharmacist to give her the prescription back so she could check it. And the pharmacist wouldn't give it to her. I mean, can you imagine? It's outrageous. So take a picture of your prescription. Make sure that you get estrogel, and it's the real estrogel. Even if you get it, peel the label off, make sure there's nothing underneath it that says it's been over-labelled with something. If your pharmacist says they can't get it, this is what they need to do. They need to open an account with one of the wholesalers that does have it, okay? And there are 3 of them. So they can order it from Alliance, they can order it through AHA, and they can order it through Phoenix, okay? So those are the 3 wholesalers, if you like, for pharmacists where they can get it. And I've even got the PIP code. Don't ask me what a PIP is, but it's the PIP code that the pharmacist can request, and it is 2171775. Okay, 2171775. Now, all of this information, by the way, is on Manchester Menopause Hive Instagram. She's got lots of threads. And she and I had a conversation this morning because I said to her, listen, Zoe, I'm going to talk about this. And I need to make sure I've got my facts right. It needs to be medically absolutely accurate, evidence-based, because that's my reputation is on this. It's absolutely, this is what you need to do. And basically you can stand your ground, and if you go onto her Instagram you'll see, as I said, that's what it looks like at the moment. And she's given herself a gold cup, I think, for menopause recognition. And she says, basically, this is her post for today. It says, excuse me, I've got low battery mode on here. There you go. It says, popped these into boots. So she's given them a certificate of menopause excellent. And that's so brilliant. Look at that. It's a Golden Uterus Award. They've been given to the pharmacists at Boots. And she said she has just unpacked a big box of estrogel, smiley pet face. They promised to put the symptom chart up on their notice board, and they're going to keep their beady eyes out for women who seem to be recurrently self-treating for cystitis, thrush, those coming in with antidepressant prescriptions who could be menopausal. That is just so great, isn't it? So it's really important, if there are any pharmacists watching or if you've got pharmacy friends, please make them aware of this because it's a new thing. Okay, so that's what you do to get yours. Now, what do we need to do to help others? And you need to basically download an app. So if, like me, you think you've been affected by having estradiol, and that's a different, somehow in the manufacturing it's been changed, or the storage of it or whatever, then you can report it, and there's an app. And it's the best way. It's called the Yellow Card app. And you may have heard about this. If there are any side effects or contraindications or any warnings on any kind of medication, you can download an app from the MHRA, and it's called the Yellow Card. So you go onto your app store and you'll see it there, yellow card, and you download it and you fill your details in. And then if ever there's an issue with any medication or you want to check it, it's a really useful app to have. I had no idea. Dr. Zoe told me about it this morning. You can fill it in. And the only way, she said, that really pressure is going to be brought to make sure that all these gels are working in the way they should is if they're reported. And if there are enough of us who can report it, if you've had issues, if you have been using the gel for a while, and you don't think that it's now working, you're seeing a return of your symptoms, you're having to use more of the gel, you're really not feeling that it's helping you in the same way that it was, please report it, because that way we will hopefully be able to get things changed. Can you imagine, you are an anxious, vulnerable, middle-aged, menopausal woman suffering for years with anxiety, with sore joints, lack of sleep, low libido, low cognitive function, poor memory, all of this. Chances are that, you may have given up work, you may have relationship issues because of all these symptoms. You finally get the help that you need and it doesn't flipping well do the job. That is an outrage. So I'm going to rely on you, okay? I'm putting this out there. I can do it, but I'm just one person putting this out there to my lovely community. Facebook, please, if you are on the gel, take a look. If it's not doing it for you, please download the Yellow Card app. Instagram, you're always so vocal about this. Please share this information. Follow Manchester Menopause Hive because she is the expert. She's the one who's uncovered this. It's amazing detective work. And without these incredible medics, where would we be? Where would we be? I mean, I would be in a sweaty, crumpled heap, not doing what I'm doing, that's for sure, if it wasn't for people like Dr. Louise Newson. And that's why I champion them. And I'm so thankful that they give me the time to explain things like this so I can then be a mouthpiece. And all of us can go and tell. If all of us can share this with 10 others, who then can share it with 10 others, that's how we affect change. So thank you for all the hearts. It's just lovely to see all that coming in. Really, really great. So, the eye masks. Sorry, I just spotted a little question about the eye mask. Yeah, this was my holistic silk eye mask. I don't know if you can see it's got Liz written on it. I love it. Oh, I think I might have to go and lie down now with an eye mask after that rant. I will be back with you tomorrow. So tomorrow I have got some lovely wellbeing treats. It's Wellbeing Wednesday, of course, tomorrow. So I'm going to be sharing some really fun things. And it's all good. Don't forget, if you want to read your magazine free on digital, online, because this one has now sold out as single issues. You can still buy it in shops, but if you can't get to the shops and you want to read it online, go to Readly because you get a free month and you can check up all the back issues as well. So there's a link on Linktree to Readly. Amy, I know that you'll do a link as well on Facebook to Readly, but that is it for now. I've got to go. I've got to sign loads more books. My yearbooks are flying and I think my menopause books now are flying as well. But don't forget there are downloads. If you want to read something right now, if you want to share it with a friend, send them a link to it, please. Let's just get better healthcare for all of us, especially as we go into the second half of our lives. Let's make sure that our second half is even better than the first. That's my goal. Anyway, sending you lots of love. Thank you. Thank you for being with me today. Hope that's been helpful. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye-bye.